So welcome everyone to Unity Spiritual Center of Panama City. I'm Ron Holdaway, LUT and licensed Unity teacher, and it's my greatest honor and privilege to be serving as your spiritual leader during these times, or any time actually. So I'm just humbled and honored every time I get a chance to do this. So I don't say that enough for you guys, because this family, this community that we have here is really special to me, and I know we're special to each other. So if you've been here for many times, welcome. If you're just coming on to us, finding us on the internet, we're also live streaming on Facebook. Welcome and good morning. So this is the I'm going to share my screen here before we get started. Let me do that, and then we'll get started with the service. So this is December the 20th. This is the fourth Sunday in Advent, and we're going to hear from Melissa a little bit later about the fourth spiritual attribute that we've been looking at from our Spirit of Christmas booklet, and that's joy. And Melissa's going to walk us through that. And we know Advent is the meaning of Advent is a beginning, or new beginnings, we could even say. So that's what we're here to do, is to talk about new beginnings and how the Christmas message can relate to all of us in a way of, for looking at our lives spiritually with hope and faith that we looked at, peace. Last week, Rose talked about love. And again, this week, Melissa will share with us her thoughts on from the booklet and her thoughts on joy. First, we'll get started with, as we usually do, with a song, and this week it's a very powerful song from Daniel Nahmod. So let me get that queued up here. So I invite you to listen to these powerful words from Daniel Nahmod about one power.
There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. The different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or Heaven's door. It's Muhammad, It's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power. Oh, one power. Is what we are. One power. One power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby. The serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon. For it's love that's most deep. It's one power. It's one power. What we are is power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power.
Thank you, Daniel Namod. That song is so powerful to me. It's about love, which is to me is the kind of the root of our joy, if you will. So it's kind of combining. He talked about joy in that song as well as love is the one power. So it all fits together here today. So today is the fourth Sunday of Advent, and again, welcome to everyone. We're going to start off with if we were meeting in person, we would be lighting the candles as we usually do for from the Advent wreath. We do have a reading, and I'm going to ask Karen Pauline to read that for us. Karen Pauline.
Hi, can you hear me? Our Advent affirmation for joy is, I have the joyfulness of a child within me. If I ever lose sight of my joy, I remember the boundlessness I felt as a child. That child is still present within me, alive, enthusiastic, and seeking expression. I love my inner child. I give it room to come out and play. Life is filled with possibilities, and I stay open to those that excite and inspire me. In this Advent season of great expectation, I hold great expectations for my own life. Who knows what might be coming next? Who knows what might be born anew in me? I am infused with the joy of being alive, and I'm grateful. These words were inspired by Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. Truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Please affirm with me our affirmation. I have the joyfulness of a child within me.
Let's do that together. I have the
I have a
joyfulness.
joyfulness of a child within me.
Thank you. Thank you. Powerful words. Let's pause for prayer on those. Thank you, Karen Pauline. Thank you very much. Let's pause for prayer. And as we raise our consciousness, we raise our eyes to turn within to this one presence and one power that lives and moves and has being in each one of us. We raise our consciousness to see, to remember, to acknowledge the one source that does truly live and move and have being in us. We celebrate this awareness and rest in the awe and wonder of this magnificent spirit. Yes, with all the suffering and issues and activities of events of the day, it's easy for us to get so distracted and so caught up in these events, and yet we know we can turn within, find the peace that is the truth of our true being, find the peace and the love and the joy that rests within. Life is eternal, and we find that when we look within ourselves. And then we can see, when we see it in ourselves, we can see it in others. So we pray for all the people that are in our community that are on our prayer list. We lift them up and hold them in just absolute peace and health and energies of wholeness and light. We know this is true. We don't deny the existence of these outer circumstances, and yet we turn within for peace and joy and hope. We lift this up because we know it's true. We affirm it because it's true. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you, sweet spirit. Amen. So if you're finding us for the first time, Unity's Spiritual Center of Panama City is an open and accepting spiritual community for multi-generational diverse individuals with open minds and hearts. We use affirmative prayer, meditation, education practices to inspire and empower people of all faiths to apply spiritual principles in their everyday lives. So I invite you to go to the website, go to unity.org. You can find out more about us and what we believe, and we thank you for being here. If you're a long-term time Unity presence, you know these 5 principles are our guiding life guiding principles, not platitudes, but yet a philosophy to live by, to live our lives by. So I invite you to research that and find more about it. A few announcements that we announce every week. Our Zoom presence opportunities continue this week. Thursday, 6 p.m., Tuesday, 6 p.m., A Course of Miracles facilitated by Rose Flora. Rose, there's Rose waving at us. That's a great group she's doing. So if you have any interest in the Course of Miracles, you can join that on Tuesday nights. Wednesday, we have coffee and chat with several of us joined together just to share like-mindedness with our spiritual community. You're welcome to join us there. Thursday meditation, we will do that. That's Christmas Eve this week, and we'll do that. There's not a better time to have meditation than on Christmas Eve. Next Sunday, December the 27th is it's a little outside our booklet. There is a Sunday in it, but the topic will be a season of Advent. We've gone through these Advent seasons, so what does that mean? And the subtitle that is Every Day is Christmas. We can find Advent is always coming. We can always be preparing for Christmas. So I give you these questions, and you can find these. Becky will put these on Facebook, and they'll also be on our website in case you forget them. What did you learn this Advent season? Or maybe a better question is, what did you relearn? Because we've all been through these sessions before. And then as part of this Advent season, can you answer this question? What's keeping you, sorry, that says what's keeping you from being content? And we'll dive into that with this concept of every day is Christmas. So we'll dive into those next week. And then also Christmas Eve on the 24th, this Thursday, we will have a candle lighting service at 6 o'clock. And if you could bring a small candle or a battery powered votive. And if you bring a candle, be sure to bring a holder or a wax guard or something, so you don't get wax on your fingers and worse on your computer. So we will have a candle lighting at the end of the service, but we'll talk about the metaphysical messages of Christmas, do some readings like we normally do. And I've thought about this, and you'll see that, I think it'll be very blessing if you want to join us on Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. And then just to give you a little notice ahead of time, we will do a burning bowl on January the 3rd, and we'll post a form. We do a release. We would do a release and receive form, and then we do we'll do a 2021 intention form as part of the burning bowl. So we'll put some forms in the email blast and also on the website. Sunday, January the 10th, we will do a Whitestone service. And if you haven't, we have a description of what the Whitestone service is and why it's important to us. It's really a meditation to write a word or a phrase on this stone that you're going to work with throughout the year. And it's an ancient, very ancient ceremony. It's a ritual, more of a meditation ritual that has been kind of become commonplace in Unity churches. And if you'll read about it, it comes from Revelation. And if you'll read about it on the Facebook and the website, I think you'll remember that and enjoy the service that when we'll do that on the 10th. So God has given us two hands, one for giving, one for receiving, and you guys are the blessings of that for us in this spiritual community. I thank you so much. So you, if you haven't been giving, or you want to give a little extra during this time to our family, it takes some money to operate this, to keep this going, and we're so grateful. I am so personally grateful for what you do and how you reach out with your love and by your giving. So if you would just hold your hand and let's say the offering blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. You know, that this ministry, Unity in general, is a praying or a prayer ministry. Prayer is very important to us and to our community. So you guys have always, you send me your prayer request either through email or text. I keep them in a little book I've got here, and then I send them off to Unity Village. So please continue to do that. There's several on our list, and we pray for them, you pray for them. So we thank you for that. So please, if you have prayer in your family or a prayer request, or if you have something you want to celebrate, if you have a joy that you want to celebrate, share it with me, and then we'll pray with you for 7 days here, and then send it on to Unity Village, where Silent Unity, where they'll pray on it for 7 days. The next thing that we're going to do is the daily word, and Rose is going to read that for us, the daily word for joy today. Rose?
Thank you for allowing me to do this. Joy. Joy dawns in my grateful heart. Joy to the world. The carol echoes the joyous message proclaiming the Messiah's birth. Today, I feel the same triumphant joy awakening in me. I may have endured a long and cumbersome journey on the way to discover the joy that is alive in me, the truth of me as a spiritual being. I may have spent years denying my spiritual identity, thinking that fulfillment, wholeness, and abundance were for others and not for me. Now, as I've made the Advent journey, I have kindled my faith, felt the tranquility and comfort of peace, and received the soothing touch of deep and abiding love. Those gifts have led me to understand with deep gratitude that joy is mine to know, to feel, and to live. In the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 10, but the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people."
Let's do the affirmation, Rose. Say it one more time, and then we'll say it together. You're muted. Well, I'll say it. Joy dawns in my grateful heart. Joy dawns in my grateful heart. And so it is. I had a different affirmation on the slide here, so that's why well, actually, let's look at that one too. This is another good affirmation. I had another affirmation from a different daily word. Joy is my constant companion. Joy is my constant companion. So true. So true. So as we prepare for a time of meditation and sitting in the silence before Melissa speaks, let's pause for a minute and listen to this beautiful song by Karen Drucker, I Will Surrender. She calls this her morning prayer. So listen to this as you prepare for meditation.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free, as I continue walking in this mystery. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am grateful every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am kinder every moment, every day, and I'm more loving every moment, every day. I will surrender every moment, every day.
Now, if you haven't already done so, I invite you to close your outer eyes if that's comfortable, and just fully begin to relax your body for just a few moments. And we'll, as we sit in this sacred space where we know the truth of our being resides. So I invite you to take a deep breath in and feel that energy just rise up. And then as you exhale, relax and settle in fully. Find that comfortable place where you can be relaxed for just a few moments. Fully relax your body and settle into that comfortable position. One more deep breath in and then relax on the exhale. And now just breathe normally as you continue to relax, and feel the chair or the sofa or wherever you're sitting fully supports you so you can fully relax into this now moment. And now as your body relaxes, you can relax your mind. Just let all the thoughts, any cares, concerns from this morning or what you have to do today, just let them drift by for just a few moments. And as we begin to still our minds and rest in this this awareness of this now moment, we can tune to spirit and feel that spirit guiding us and leading us, loving us. And we can listen to the power of our voice within, the still small voice within. And so from this awareness, we can touch the deepest essence of our being. So I invite you to do that now. Just, again, settling in deeply and feel that essence, that intuitive knowing that resides deep within you. So now for just a few moments, rest in that place and feel this energy of this meditating with this family, with this energy, even across the distance of doing this virtually. We can feel this energy as we rest in these few moments together in the silence, in the silence. Take another deep breath in and exhale. Breath in and then exhale. And as you begin to return your attention to this time and place, you can wiggle your fingers and toes and be fully present into this now moment, now physical moment, as we begin to listen to Melissa's talk on joy. So if you're comfortable, whenever you're comfortable, you can open your outer eyes and be fully present in this moment. We say, thank you, thank you, thank you, sweet spirit. Okay, Melissa.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you.
Melissa, I wanted to say, I'm sure I speak for everyone because we always look forward to your talk. So we're looking forward to it. I am. So I'm sure I'm speaking for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron, for that wonderful meditation. Today, we celebrate the last Sunday in our Advent season and the spiritual gift of joy. And over the last 3 Sundays, we've celebrated our capacity to live with hope, faith, peace, and love. As we look forward to the observance of Jesus's birth and the rebirth of the Christ Spirit within us, which is what Christmas represents, let us open ourselves to the joys of the season and the coming new year. Let us take this time to affirm that our blessings are bountiful. The spirit of joy is always present and opens us to a deeper connection with the God of our knowing and with each other. Now, I know, as we all do, that this year has been an incredibly difficult year. As I've reflected upon the spirit of joy in my own life this season, I've sometimes found it difficult to prepare myself and allow that joyful spirit to emerge. I know we've all made sacrifices this year for our own well-being and the well-being of others since March. Many of us have decided to stay home. We've refrained from visiting with family and friends the way we normally would. We've even social distance when we're in contact with other people, no hugs, no kisses, that sort of thing, that physical contact we usually rely on to express our love. And we also began wearing masks when we were around others to help protect one another. And I want to take this moment to express my gratitude and say, thank you for these sacrifices that you've made and the sacrifices that you're likely to continue to make in the coming months, because I know this isn't over yet. However, I am optimistic and I am joyful. I know I'm so grateful for the innovation of these vaccines that are now being distributed. And I look forward, I know many of you do too, to the days ahead when we'll once be able more to physically connect with our friends and our family. And I have hope, real hope and faith that these joyful moments of physical connection will be ours once again in the coming year. So I'm looking forward to that. That's some of the joyfulness I've started cultivating this season, is just the joy of what's ahead in the future. In preparing myself to open to this spirit of joy, I, of course, reflected on the messages of joy from our booklet, our Advent booklet on the spirit of Christmas. And I also use those spiritual tools that are available to us: affirmation, prayer, meditation, and even song. Yes, I do sing when I'm not in public. And I've also began opening the doors to other practices like forgiveness and gratitude that we sometimes maybe set aside when we get really busy, practices that help release negativity and cultivate joy. On top of that, I've been reading a couple of old articles on the meaning of joy and how others have found joy in difficult circumstances from the Daily Word. Their website is a wonderful resource if you just want to, ever need just something to uplift you. Just go in and type in that key term, that keyword, and there's lots of articles, lots of things out there on the Daily Word that can help you in your spiritual practice. So I want to share just a little bit of this insight and wisdom with you today. So what is joy? The words joy and happiness are often used interchangeably, but many spiritual writers and experts agree that there are differences between the two. Happiness relies on outside, external things, while joy is internal. Happiness is about things and objects. It's momentary, it's fleeting. Meanwhile, joy is about contentment with the self, connection with others, and making peace with who you are. Joy tends to be a more consistent kind of happiness. It's longer lasting. It's not fleeting. And it's large enough to walk in tandem with other emotions such as sadness and sorrow without being lost in their path. Now, in our booklet on the spirit of Christmas, Reverend John Paul Roach says, quote, "Joy arises when we let go, release our need to work it all out, and simply be with what is." And what truer words there are for defining that practice of joy and cultivating joy is letting go. And because joy is such an important gift to cultivate, I wanted to look at some of the ways joy shows up in our lives, as well as a couple of ways to open our practice to more joy. So today I wanted to speak about 4 types of joy: sympathetic joy, connected joy, contented joy, and spiritual joy. And that last one, spiritual joy, is often referred to as true joy because it's present within us at all times. One way joy shows up in our lives is what Buddhists refer to as mudita, or sympathetic joy. And sympathetic joy is about finding pleasure and delight in the well-being and blessings of others. Sympathetic joy is one of the 4 immeasurables in Buddhism, along with compassion, equanimity, and loving kindness. This idea is also present in the Christian scriptures, such as Romans chapter 12, verse 15. Quote, "Rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep," unquote. Cultivating and opening ourselves to sympathetic joy is done by relinquishing the negative thought patterns of envy and jealousy. Now, envy and jealousy often arise from an erroneous belief that joy is a limited resource. And when others have happiness or joy, there is somehow less happiness or joy to go around. So one of the ways we can cultivate sympathetic joy and eliminate jealousy and envy is to affirm the limitlessness, that infinite nature of happiness and joy. By continually acknowledging those infinite blessings of the universe, we can break the cycle of thinking joy is limited. By lovingly rejoicing and embracing the joy of others, we also build upon our capacity for another kind of joy, connected joy. Connected joy is about the feeling of joy we experience when we connect or reconnect with our fellow man, when we share in this experience we call life. A good way to explain connected joy is through a Christmas holiday tradition that many of us share: going out and looking at Christmas lights. I don't know how many of you guys still do this. I still do this, and I don't have kids. I absolutely love this. It's our holiday tradition. Now, while the Christmas lights themselves are external and only offer momentary happiness, the connection with others that are behind the Christmas lights, those people who put them up, or going out, the people who are going with you to look at those Christmas lights, that is internal. That joy is internal. Now, while I may not personally know the people in the house that I'm driving by or stopping in front of to admire their lights, I can still feel a connection with them in expressing the joy and wonder of the Christmas season. I even ignore the fact that some of them still have their political signs out. I connect with them in the spirit of Christmas. I let go of those kind of divisive things that we see with one another, and I want to connect with them in spirit. Now, connected joy can also occur when we reconnect with an old friend or loved one, or when we offer forgiveness and reaffirm our connection with someone. So a couple of the ways we can cultivate a space for connected joy are to acknowledge that Christ spark, that Buddha nature, that divine presence in each person that you interact with, even those you don't see, even those people who are behind the Christmas lights, right? So even if we don't see them, we can recognize that Christ spark, that Buddha nature within them. We can also practice forgiveness for those who we feel have wronged us in some way, working to let go of old grudges and embracing one another as friends again, or at least acquaintances, helps eliminate that cycle of repetitive negative thinking, and it opens ourselves up to our shared experiences, those beautiful, wonderful, joyful experiences called life. Now, in her article, Creating Moments of Joy, Esther Koch reminds us that, quote, "Forgiveness opens the door to gratitude, and gratitude leads to joy." So I'm going to speak a little bit more about gratitude, because another way joy shows up in our life is what is referred to as contented joy. Contented joy is about rejoicing in the blessings or qualities one possesses, one has, that are their inherent nature. This is a joy that is present in our practice of gratitude, when we are truly grateful for what we have and we're content with our lives. Affirming and rejoicing in our good qualities, our good thoughts, our good actions, our good habits, those things that we have, is a way to cultivate contented joy. But you don't want to just downplay your negative thoughts or patterns or qualities. You want to embrace them and say, you know what, today I'm living with them and they're perfectly okay. Take a moment to reflect and rejoice in who you are. Rejoice in your strengths, your actions of kindness and generosity, your many blessings. What are you grateful for? And I know many of you have those strengths, right? We all have strength. Strength comes in part from that joy. Another benefit of cultivating contented joy is it helps us cultivate sympathetic joy, what I was talking about earlier. So these two kind of work in tandem. By building contentment in our own lives, we are less likely to harbor feelings of jealousy or envy for the joys and blessings that others experience. We realize there's enough to go around. There is an infinite abundance of joy. Lastly, I want to speak about spiritual joy. This is also sometimes referred to as true joy. In the Revealing Word, Charles Fillmore defines joy as, quote, the happiness of God expressed through his perfect idea, man, unquote. He goes on to say that, quote, joy and gladness are strength-giving, especially if the mind is fixed on things of the Spirit. Spiritual joy is about focusing on the joy brought about by our spiritual connection with the God of our knowing, whatever name we call that God by. It's about the joy of knowing we are all part of something bigger, grander, greater than ourselves. It's rejoicing in that constant presence, that Christ spark, that Buddha nature, that divine potential, that divine seed in each and every one of us. If happiness is momentary and fleeting, then spiritual joy is always present. It's infinite and abundant. Spiritual joy is big enough to envelop our sadness and sorrow and allow us to sit with these emotions with love, compassion, and understanding without losing our ability to know joy exists, because it continues. Even among the heartache of whatever we're going through right now, joy still exists. Through our spiritual practices, such as affirmations, prayers, meditation, song, journaling, forgiveness, gratitude, we could go on and list all those spiritual practices that we just learned about over the last 2 months, because we just came out of a series on spiritual practices. So go back and watch those if you're wanting to learn more about those. But through these practices, we can help cultivate the spirit of joy. And of course, don't forget that the spirit of joy works in tandem with the gifts of hope, faith, peace, and love that we've been learning about during this Christmas season. And these go on throughout the year. It's not just a one-time thing. The spirit of Christmas is wherever we are in the present moment. So we can also cultivate hopeful joy, faithful joy, peaceful joy, and loving joy through our daily spiritual practices. So I encourage you to open yourself up to the joy of finding pleasure and delight in the well-being and blessings of others, the joy of connecting with others, even if it's via electronic media right now. I know many of us can't have that physical connection, but still try to make that connection where you can. The joy of being at peace with who you are and the strengths you possess. For you, my friend, possess strengths, many of them. And lastly, the joy of the Spirit that is always with us. Namaste.
Thank you, Melissa. Well, I'll set that up perfectly because that was outstanding. Thank you so much. Before the service, Melissa and I were talking. She said, I really had to struggle with this, to find joy. How do you do it? Well, you found it and you shared it with us today. So thank you. That was very, very good. I'll listen to it again. I always listen to them, but I'll listen to it again. So thank you for sharing that so much. And you saw the claps and the ways. Let's give Melissa another Zoom. Thank you. Thank you so much. So today I'm going to do the closing a little different. We're ready to close our service. We always close with the prayer of protection. So today I'm going to give you that blessing and let you receive it. So if you would just prepare to receive this, the prayer of protection. I'll say it and give this blessing to you as our closing. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Okay, we'll stop the recording.